Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM22 story, The Head Coach, with me, Daniel. We're back today for part 74 and it's a big one for us. We face Leicester at home in the Premier League after stuttering on the opening day of the season last time out. And we've also got transfer deadline day where a lot of work is needed. You'll be able to tell what position from looking at the team news near the top of the screen. And given that we're still overloaded in certain other positions, we could well see some outs as well. So if you're looking forward to that, it should be a blockbuster day. There's still, 77 million left in the transfer budget. Then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe down below for daily FM22 content from two long-term stories. It's been a big week with Hemel Hempstead. We had transfer deadline day there yesterday. I'll put a link to the latest season up in the eye above. And you can also find links to the Insight playlist, the football podcast and the Twitch channel for regular live streams, including loads of FA Cup watch-alongs next week. But let's get cracking with Manchester United. And we're going to start with the transfer screen because there is a potential out on the cards, which is Alvaro Fernandez. And that's a massive issue. You saw the two injuries we've got at centre-half at the top of the screen on the last page. We only actually have 3 at the club anyway. So for all the midfielders we've got, all of the quality wide men we've got, we can't actually name centre-halves at the minute. And we're having to play centre midfielders in there. So Alvaro Fernandez looks like he's going to either Dinamo Kiev or Shakhtar Donetsk, about 20 million up front. But there has also been some movement on the ins since you were last here too. And the good news is, it does fix one of the issues at left back. That one is Timur Erdogan. He comes in, the 18-year-old Turk. We looked at him in the last episode. He has now joined the club and he's going to get a lot more football than he expects because it looks like he's going to be one or two left backs left at the club. A few more ins, 2 of them youngsters, but one, Kanaya Boyce-Clark, is a third choice goalkeeper from Southampton for 100 grand. No idea how he's managed to swindle 35 grand a week, but he's a solid keeper. He's at Reading at the moment and he'll now be the backup here at Manchester United. If Dahlberg goes on deadline day, at least I don't have the panic of not having a second keeper. That's the one way I'm looking at it. We've had absolute bucket loads of players going on loan to Luzern, who seem to be a feeder club. But first teamers going on loan, Rhett Nieto. He goes to Bournemouth, the goalkeeper. He's going to be a superstar if he gets games for them. Bit worried that he hasn't played yet after 2 weeks though. Only a League Cup game there. Did say he was going to be first choice. Santiago Casal, who's gone to Villarreal. He is a centre midfield at 2.5-star ability. Probably wouldn't have got much football for us, so it's a good deal for him to go. But he needs to play there and he needs to develop. Hopefully, he'll do just that. And then going down a little bit more, Magno Luiz is a big one who's left the club. He scored 2 in our Europa Conference game, but has now gone on loan to Lyon. He's a young winger. Again, he was 4th, 5th, 6th choice out there. It made sense for him to go. But you can see at the bottom, the one I'm disappointed about. Our best central midfielder, albeit at 33 and for a decent fee, has left. Nicolo Barella, he threw his toys out the pram because he didn't get the first offer accepted. And John Murtow agreed to sell him. This is the beauty of the head coach. They sell your best players and then spend 70 million on average ones. So Barella has left the club. Probably the best player mentally here, the best leader. And he's no longer here. So we're weaker than we were at the start of the window. Despite a net spend of about 100 million. It's absolutely mad. So deadline day is going to be fun. There needs to be some work done. And we need a centre-half. If we look at the schedule, you can see we've done well since you were last here. We battered Beitar Jerusalem, but at centre-half, we were playing Johnny, who is an American centre midfielder, and we were also playing Agumbi, who is an English centre midfielder. We haven't got centre-halves available. Regardless, we did win 7-0. There wasn't much of a defensive threat for us. Sancho got 2, Voloshin, Hannibal and Rashford got 1 each, and Magno Luiz with 2 off the bench. We then won comfortably 2-0 at Brentford with Mbappe and Sancho getting the goals there. And then 5-1 in the return leg against the Israeli side. Jeremy Frimpong scored an own goal, but Tziolis and Marcus Rashford with braces, plus Russell Thompson, the Scottish winger, getting 1. So very short in certain positions, struggling to name a side, particularly at the back. We really need improvements. Deadline day has got to be big. We had the recruitment meeting with 1 week to go, and worryingly, the director of football only highlighted centre midfield as a problem. Lord knows why. So I went straight in for a centre-half and said, you have to get me one. Scout as a high priority. And I hope that pays dividends on deadline day. Annoyingly, one of the best left backs in the world is available from Lyon. He's transfer listed for 57 million. He keeps popping up in scout reports, and Mertel's made no effort to get him. I just don't understand it. We need action. Hopefully it will come. But first, we've got to get through the Leicester game. If we have a look at the squad in terms of central defenders, only Inacio is fit. I think today I've got to make changes because obviously we played Europa Conference. I'll probably play Fernandes there just because he's going in the next day or two and I want to preserve legs. So it makes sense physically to play him. Let's go and get into it though. 2 wins out of 2 so far without being entirely convincing. I've changed the tactics very slightly. We're going to pick the team that the assistant recommends. And we did the same with Barrea in the week, actually. We played him because we knew he was leaving. And we've gone attacking. We're playing a bit more direct. I hope it pays dividends. Let me go and sort out this 11 picked by the assistant. And we'll be back in a moment to run through it. And here is our team for today. We've got Ilian Meslier between the sticks. Frimpong is at right back with Gaia moving into centre half. Fernandes will make his last appearance at left back with Inacio alongside him at left centre half. Didn't want to play 2 left-footed centre halves this time, that was all. Aponza and Hannibal, probably now first choice centre mids, given the fact that we've lost Barrea. Jaloka is retraining as a centre mid, but isn't quite there yet. So we'll probably want to give him half a year. Let him play there in the European matches. Hopefully he'll develop in no time. Yakubu and Sancho on the wings. Sancho been just too good to leave out. With Bruno Fernandes behind Kylian Mbappe. Bit more like we finished the first game of the season rather than the way we started it. Of course we're incredibly short as central defence. That may be a problem for us. But we've got the likes of Rashford and Jaloka available if we need attacking players to come and save the day. So into the game we go. United v Leicester. It's a small part of this episode because deadline day is crucial. But really, we'd like to continue the perfect start. Again, I'll take a scrappy 1-0. Well, 8 changes from the European match for us. 9 changes for Leicester, who I presume had similar action. They've still got the likes of Ndidi and Tielemans centre mid, James Justin at right back, Harvey Barnes on the wing. 4 originals is no mean feat in a 10th season. But lots of other unfamiliar names in there. Curtis Stevens is a bit of a star apparently. And they've got quality off the bench, including Shane Lavery. Knew he'd make it. What a player. Let's get cracking. We're going to ask the lads to make sure they win. A few players not looking too happy at the minute. But that just reflects the club. Alvaro Fernandes trying to force his way out. It's a challenge for us to go to a super club, keep everyone happy, despite having no say in transfers, contracts or staffing. It's not the easiest job in the world, but a win would certainly help. Well, we're back in the 8th minute as Meslier is smothering the ball at the back and rolling out to Inacio. We're playing that more front-footed style now, and while we might get caught out at the back once or twice, it should allow us to attack in lots of numbers as Sancho gets down the left, back to Hannibal, delivers to Yakubu, 6'6" at the back stick. I don't know what we're delaying for here. We're going to VAR. If they're looking for an offside, I'm pretty confident that's on. I think this will be awarded. It looks a good start. And that threat of the back post from set pieces, we saw it very early on in the Hemel save this year, and actually in this save with the likes of Dover, where we had Gideon Kadua coming in, 6'2", 6'3" at the back post, and we got the same here at the top of world football. Just shows non-league attributes can help you all the way, as Sancho's in down the left again. Good save from the keeper. Gotta say, this is a lightning start, and maybe that's why I was a bit hesitant on the opening day. We've not managed a side before where we can just go and overpower teams every week. Probably Bristol City was the closest we had as Yakubu puts Mbappe in. And that's really my only worry at the moment. He's unhappy at the sale of Barrea, has been throwing his toys out the pram a bit. And he's not looked great all season. He's scored in most games, but for the chances he's had, you'd expect more. As Tielemans plays to the right-hand side, and Ndidi loses it to Mponza. The big money signing puts in Mbappe, and he's put another one wide. It is not good enough in front of goal from him. Something has to be done. One of the best finishers in world football, but he's given Leicester a chance. They hit the crossbar from a set piece. And this is what happens if you don't take your chances. 25 gone, we're 1-0 up, we've been scintillating. We've got to score. We've got to score more than one. I say that, we've kept a clean sheet in every league game so far, so perhaps we don't. But equally, I don't really want to be on tenterhooks. I don't want to be on edge towards the end of a game when we've had so many chances. As we win it back at speed, Bruno Fernandes up to Mbappe again. Surely has to score eventually, and does. They might be getting on a bit now, but this front 3 or 4 is combining in style. Absolutely sensational goal. Fernandes deft touch through the defence. It split them in half. And Kylian Mbappe just puts it in under the keeper as we're back with Leicester City for Tielemans on halfway. Big ball over the top. Inacio does well. Gotta say, this makeshift back four doing pretty well, considering there's a right back at centre half, a left back that's leaving tomorrow, and a right back who's not first choice. It really is competing well, as it's out to Sancho on the left, back to Fernandes. Wants to finish in style at United. Releases his winger again, over the top to Mbappe. I think he was offside that time. So VAR should disallow this goal, if my eyes aren't deceiving me. 7 minutes to the break though, it's been a wonderful performance. Michael Oliver to VAR, disallowed. It stays 2-0. Maybe I should be an assistant referee. I seem to be getting all of these right. As we get to the break at 2-0, Leicester, bar one header off the crossbar, not really had a threat. We should be more ahead. And I'm starting to see, even after 4 or 5 games, that our style is starting to come into this team. They're starting to play those balls through the middle, as it's into Inacio, headed away. And Ponza will get there. But the high press, the relentless attacking, I mean, it'll be a test when we play a top side as Fernandes delivers to Yakubu. Oh, what a header that is. Fernandes gets the assist again. And Yakubu at the back post with that height, with that quality in the air. Virtually unstoppable. This should be 3 more points. As it's a corner kick for Fernandes. I asked the same question again, actually, as Yakubu gets a hat-trick of headers. I asked the same question that I asked when I was at Crystal Palace at the end of last season. How on earth did they not finish in the top 4? We're 4-0 up. We're in a position where we can rest people. Yakubu's got a hat-trick, so he's one of those who will come off. So Rashford will come on the right. We're also going to bring on Timur Erdogan for his debut because Frimpong's knackered, played the full game in midweek. So he'll come on as a right back. I know he can't play there, but good to get a debut. And in the final change, I'm going to take off Amponza for Jalocca because I want to get him used to central midfield. And if we can do that when we're 4-0 up in the Premier League, then that's all good by me. Because we've got a throw on the left again with Alvaro Fernandes to Hannibal. All the way back to his centre-half, Inacio. Runs forward unopposed into Marcus Rashford. Finishes with a 5th. I don't know why the Leicester defence was so deep. But we're starting to look really good. We can mix up the short possession and the long through balls. And we've got that ruthless edge. And if we get these strikers in form 2 or 3 at a time, we should be winning games heavily. And we're starting to do that here. As Wilfred and Ndidi at the back. Finds Ruan, his centre-half. Into midfield again for Leicester and out to the right for Justin and Zazu. The only thing that can make this episode better is if we avoid injuries to the end and then getting a good centre-half on deadline day. Maybe even that transfer-listed left-back at Lyon, because that could improve our squad massively. As Ndidi goes back to Ruan. He plays out to James Justin and Ndidi again to Tielemans. Good spell of possession for Leicester, but ultimately it goes down to Gaia. Jalocca into Mbappe, puts it wide of the post again. How many is he going to miss? 5-0, 15 to go. Thankfully, it's not going to cost us. Well, this is starting to look like it's going to be a really good Premier League season. If I show you the table after a 5-0 victory, all of the top 6 on fire. We saw low points totals last year, but look at that top 6. Palace struggling without us, they're on 1 point. But all of the big 6 traditionally are on 7 or 9 points after 3 games. We'll see what happens when we all start playing each other, but for now, I'm very excited. Let's get cracking into transfer deadline day though. Hopefully a centre-half to come. Just thought I'd show you this before we head into deadline day. The scout reports have come back from the recruitment assignment. Look at some of the defenders that have been found. At centre-half, at left-back, this is the guy who's transfer listed. And I mean, look at him. 24 years of age, probably the best fullback in the world. And wanted by a host of top clubs. United join that list. Otherwise, they're looking for a centre mid for Berea. I'm not that worried. What I want is one of these centre-halves or someone else. Doesn't even have to be that good. And ideally, that left-back. That would be a great deadline day. And with Fernandes gone, we've probably got about 95 million to play with. Cross your fingers. Here we are then. And one of the main deals expected on deadline day, and we know how reliable these media reports are from previous clubs, but the main link is one of our wingers going to Milan for 67 million. Now, he's not first choice, so it wouldn't bother me that much. But it only works if then a centre-half and a left-back come in. They're also linking Barcelona with Jadon Sancho. He's been asking to leave, so that's a potential worry. He's been immense at the start of the season too. And Manchester United have been linked with Mateus Nunes, who, he's another centre mid. And he's 32 and he's not that good. Please, just get me defenders. Ignore all of that. We're linked with a wonder kid, Manuel Gomez. Left winger. Seriously. And then we're linked with an attacking fullback, left back. Yes, that will work. But seriously, don't do this to me. Don't go through this day and just sign another winger and another centre mid. I might end the day furious. I can see offers for 2 of our players, including a loan offer for one of our regular starters. If that gets accepted, I'm going to get very upset. And there's an offer for a player called Cherky, which name rings a bell. Can't remember what position though. Let's get the outs done first. So Arsenal in for Rashford. Been rejected. 31 million. Yakubu. Rejected. 40% of the wages. What a stupid deal that is. He's not even loan listed. I've no idea where that's come from. Jaloka's training report, he's getting there as a centre mid. Let's see this though. Offer for Cherky. It's another midfielder. Why? Why do we need another centre mid, attacking mid and left winger? He's rubbish. He's 27. He's rubbish. He's worth nothing compared to the transfer budget. Why on earth would he get signed? He wouldn't even be good enough for the Palace side. I genuinely don't get that. My mind's been blown. There's £77 million left, and he's trying to spend 16 on that. Welcome to Director of Football Squad building. Back in a moment. 14 hours to go. Well, not content with wasting 16 million, Cherky has now been offered 70 grand a week to come in and be a squad player. That might be the worst signing I've ever experienced as a top club in the head coach. And it's nothing against the lad. He's a good player, but seriously, it's a position we don't need. He's nowhere near good enough to compete with the squad. What star rating is he? 3-star. My backside, is he a 3-star ability player? He's not got the stamina to play twice a week. He'll get some football in the Europa Conference, but seriously, I'm really upset by that. Thankfully, it's enough. It's a suitable replacement according to Mbappe. Is that maybe the other side of this? Let's have a quick look. No, I thought he might have favoured personnel with Mbappe or something, but he's not. I don't know. I really don't know how to explain it. If he gets us a defender, I'll forgive him. But for now, we're another 17 million further down in our transfer budget, and we're still without a centre-half or a top-class left-back. Well, maybe some positive news. We've been brought back to this screen, and I can see live transfers. Jesus Bissone, centre-half from Ajax, negotiated bid 33.5 million. I would take this deal. I really would. There is the offer. It's been negotiated. Let's hope. Just hope that this can be done, because he's a really good addition and a younger one if we get him. Another offer for Alvaro Fernandez, this time a loan one, which has been rejected. I understand why, because we've got permanent ones on the go. Why would that not be accepted? Offer accepted for Jesus Bissone. I almost feel bad for him that he's only getting offered the same wage as Cherky, but as long as he accepts it. Are there any other clubs in for him? There are not at the moment in terms of bids, but a couple that want him. So we'll keep our eye on that. Bayer Leverkusen have made an offer for a young striker, Trevor Aguilera, which has been rejected. Actually looks not too bad on the loan list, but not quite the ability of the first team yet. Here we go then. With 8 hours left, we have got ourselves a centre-half. Well done, John Murtow. You've redeemed yourself after that ridiculous start to the day. You're a 25th player in the squad. We can move somebody else if we need to, but I am really pleased with that. A 3-star centre-half, very good, competitive, younger, so can come in for the likes of Fofana. Definitely going to be above Ben White as third choice, and even gives us the option of a back 3 when we're playing against some of the top sides. Really like that deal. Hopefully, one more to come. I'd still love that left back, but I don't think the transfer budget allows it. There's 50 million left. If Fernandez goes, then perhaps that could be a blockbuster end. Cross your fingers, he's been linked to a window. I'd love to see that get done. Well, maybe not the excitement we were looking for, but an offer regardless for a 1-star ability American midfielder. I think that's just to sell some shirts, because that's what the centre mid is, Johnny. I'm not sure that's going to excite us. 5 hours to go. Lots of offers coming in. Let's take a look at them. Aguilera. One has been accepted, but it's a loan offer from Swansea. Everything else rejected, but some big offers starting to come in. Loan offers for a Gumby, which have been rejected. Good job, because he's currently one of our backup centre-halves. And Inter in for Bruno Fernandes, 6.5 million. There's no point taking the money for him at this point. Just let him play for us. That's more important. Well, we've been asked by the media if Cherky was a panic buy. I've given my honest assessment to that. And here comes the young American into the under-23s. Not quite sure why he's been signed. Next one out, Aguilera has moved on loan to Swansea, where he's going to get regular first-team football. There's loads of wage budget available, so I wouldn't rule out another deal yet, but this Fernandes one seems to be holding it back a bit. I think John might be giving himself the ultimate redemption. A £57 million offer for Sonny Pavati, who is transfer listed, the left-back we've looked at. This would complete the day. If we get him, I think we're title contenders. Inter in for Bruno Fernandes again, that's still been rejected. As long as there's no silly outs, if that gets done, I am the happiest man in the world. Let's see if after a ridiculously bad start to the day, we can finish it on the ultimate high. Well, there's another offer for a youngster, this time Usama Dzeu, a 20-year-old Dutchman who's not going to make it. But the Pavati offer is accepted. He's been offered 145 grand a week. 3 hours to go. Please let it happen. He's in. Pavati has been granted a work permit, and with 2 hours to go, Pavati has joined Manchester United Football Club. We have now got one of the best left backs in the world. We've got in a strong centre half. Ignore the nonsense with Cherky at the start of the day. We have lift off with Manchester United. Dzeu, the youngster, has also joined the club as well. Not going to make it past the 23s, but another signing nonetheless. And more offers coming in for our players. Dahlberg, offer rejected, £10 million. That's a good offer as well, so it looks like he's determined to keep him, even though he's transfer listed. Inter in for Fernandes again, nearly 10 million, but rejected yet again. And Forest Green have made an offer for young Kieran Smith. It's about 100 grand in total. And there he goes. 76 grand up front. There's a sell-on clause in case he does really well. But with an hour left, all we need now is Alvaro Fernandes to leave, because if he doesn't, we've got a problem with squad registration. Oh, I did not expect this. 45 minutes left. To Zolis, we've got a loan offer from Inter. It's been rejected. I can understand why. Not much of a wage offer. And surely, at 28, they come in with a transfer bid. But either way, Director of Football wants to keep this squad strong. Let's see if there's any more surprises to finish off the day. And there goes the end of the transfer window. What a deadline day that was. We haven't yet sold Alvaro Fernandes, but the window doesn't shut over there just yet, where he's linked with Dinamo Kiev and Shakhtar. But it's been a busy one. We've got the third highest wage bill in the league. I would expect us to be top 3 after today's work. 300 million spent this summer, albeit 2/3 recouped. And 23 players out of the club in total. But what a deadline day it was. It started with awful pandemonium, considering we'd signed a terrible player in Rayan Cherky. Decent footballer, but for what we needed, just didn't match at all. The fact is, though, he's here. He'll probably play some Europa Conference football, but the day got better a lot quicker. Jesus Bassone came in for £33.5 million, the big centre-half we needed, a partner for Inacio, a partner for Fofana, and a replacement for Ben White in the long term. And then further down, we also had Sonny Pavati, who we were linked with all window. The Director of Football kept scouting him, kept teasing him, and on deadline day, one of the best left-backs in the world joined Manchester United Football Club. Couple of youngsters out. Nicolo Brea leaving was, of course, a disappointment. But we've still got a very strong squad, and if Alvaro Fernandes leaves, we're in great shape. Let's have a look at the schedule for when we're next going to be back. We didn't really get much luck in the League Cup. We've drawn Arsenal. That's going to be a very difficult tie. In fact, we've got them 2 games in a row there. The Europa Conference draw, much more fortunate. Astana, Legia Warsaw and Flora of Estonia. I'd be baffled if we didn't win that group. So if you're looking forward to it and you did enjoy this episode, a blockbuster deadline day with our Director of Football, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know what you thought of the performance, the signings and the squad as it stands at the moment. And where do you think we're going to finish now? Because those 2 defensive signings on deadline day, I think they've put us right in the title race. If you want to stay up to date and find out, subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. But above my head now, I'll link the new season of the Hemel Hempstead Save. Please do give it a try if you haven't already. And hopefully, I'll see you here again next time.